Used to be very different. It's like. Well, that's what I told. Yeah. I'll show you some pictures. So what you have to do is all white, you have to carry everything. Yeah, it's fancy picking, and then you gotta tear it down, and then carry it back, get on the bus and wait.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, September 18th, 2023, Speaker Board of Education meeting. I am Tim Hopkins, Board President, and time is 6 p.m. The second item. All right, we'll repeat that. Welcome everyone to the September 18th, 2023 meeting this Monday, the Speaker Board of Education meeting. My name is Tim Hopkins, Board President, and I call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. The second item on our agenda is approval of the agenda as presented. May I have a motion?
There are seven. I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or refusals? And that motion carries. The next item is the pledge of allegiance and vote for silence. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Please be seated. The next item on our agenda is approval of minutes. We have two sets of minutes that we will approve separately. The first one is September 18th, 2023, one of our regular Speaker Board of Education meetings. And hopefully everyone had the opportunity to review those meetings. If so, may I have a motion to approve?
I'm trying to move to approve the minutes of the 21-23 report meeting.
All right, we have a motion, to approve the 21-2023 board meeting, and we have a second. There's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or refusals? And that motion, carries. The next item on our agenda is the August 31st, 2023, board meeting. It was a special board meeting that we held here. Hopefully the board members had the opportunity to review those minutes. If there's no discussion on that, may I have a motion to approve?
Jeff Hanson, I make a motion to approve the minutes from August 31st, 23 board meeting.
All right, so we have a motion for the August 31st board meeting. I have a second by Mr. Wright. We had two board members, one that was absent and one that did listen late into the meeting. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions or refusals?
Abstain myself from the subject while not present.
And that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is public participation. Ms. Karen, do you have any news for us? There were no phones received. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is a full presentation, with the first being the superintendent's communication.
Yes. We have already been in school for a month. I know it's hard to believe, but welcome back to the 2023-2024 school year. We had our district kickoff, over 500 people in attendance. It was amazing. We had teachers, custodians, secretaries, cafeteria workers, We had administrators, all sorts of folks there. You, Ms. Hopkins, had a chance to speak. I got to speak, and Miss Karen Diaz-Rios, our Teacher of the Year, had a chance to speak. And I'd actually like to share a quote that resonated with me. Part of her speech, she said, "Our schools can only thrive when diverse backgrounds, languages, cultures, and viewpoints coexist to help students learn and grow, no matter where they come from. That is why we are all here, to educate everybody. Education happens even when we are not teaching. We educate with our identity, with our attitude, with the way we manage classrooms and treat students." So I just thought that those were very wise words from our Teacher of the Year. We had a good start to school, some growing pains as we had our triple runs with the buses, took a few days to smooth out, but we appreciate everyone's patience with that. And it was a good example of how things work well when folks communicate and problem solve. We had Mr. Zoll there on the fly, working with Ms. Simmons and the principals. We made some changes as early as day 2 at the middle school and high school. As soon as we saw that things could be done a little bit differently, then we worked on those things. Last Friday, we did the ribbon cutting at our new school-based health center at Fred Douglass Elementary School. Thank you to everyone who was able to be there. That is a collaboration between the district, Nemours, and the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services. Mrs. Levelly has done an amazing job over the last year, working with the team at Nemours and Health and Social Services, as well as these folks, not just getting that off the ground, but planning the event for Friday. As I shared with the group on Friday, not just running a school, but starting up a business on the side. So it's pretty amazing. We have 2 grant awards to announce and celebrate. Julie Kirby, our supervisor of food and nutrition services, applied for and was awarded a grant in the amount of $126,000 for the purchase of fruits and vegetables. And then this will allow for an offset of cafeteria funds. And Mr. Gary Zoll applied for and was awarded the Stronger Connections grant through the state in the amount of $743,300. And that will pay for multiple projects and an array of different counseling options at all schools. So I'm sure you will hear more about that in the months and over the year to come. So we're very, very pleased about that.
Is that, so you say counseling, is that dealing with mental health services?
Mental health services.
So are we hiring more therapists, or is that?
Some of it is direct hiring, but some of it also is contracts with different counseling services, contracts to extend contracts we already have, and then to bring additional contracts on. K2, 3, 5, middle, high, leadership, everything. So kind of nutshell, you know? Okay.
Big part of Children and Family First, with a lot of the programs bring them endorsements. Also, like the parents hooked up with it. Using milestone consultants and Dr. Julius Mullen, and Lake by Design as well.
Also, as you know from previous presentations, the district has made significant investments in safety and security, including the purchase of the Open Gate weapons detection system. This is expected to be fully operational and in place later this fall. We still don't have a date, but just want to continue to start or continue to talk about that. Make sure that it stays on your radar. With this, remember, students, families, community members, the public will have that added layer of security while we are enjoying public events. So we do have a plan for pushing out information via social media, flyers, email communication. But the big push will come as soon as we have a definitive date. But we're very conscious of the effort that's going to be needed in terms of communicating that with our stakeholders.
Yeah.
And then finally, I would like to make sure that you're aware of our new Best of the Nest staff recognition. Perhaps you've seen that on social media. We are already on week 2. And we will be recognizing a staff member each week. We already have our own corporate sponsor locally, Grace and Flavor, donating a treat each week to our staff of the week. And we will have them recognized at board meetings as well with a certificate. Do we have our?
No, you're not.
That's not right. So there's a flyer in your folder, but it also has a QR code. And those are being handled by our PIO to make sure that we have folks coming in being recognized across all categories in the district. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I'm not ready. The next item on our agenda is for communication. And one thing I want to just say is that the school-based health center being at Fred is such, and I said it before at the meeting, but it is really a big deal. And I just want that to resonate for a little bit, because when you think about wellness centers being in school, you think of the high school. You don't really think of the elementary school. And if I'm correct, from reading up about it, I think we're number 2, the second elementary school in the state of Delaware, to actually have one house that not only deals with the medical needs of our students, but also their behavioral health needs, their mental health needs. So I just think it's amazing how dedicated Seaford is to meeting the mental health needs, those psychosocial needs for our students, not just their physical needs. So I just want that to just resonate loud across, not only our district, but our state, that this really is a big deal. And I'm very proud of what we're doing here.
It's cutting edge, and over the next year, the push will be to provide access to our other elementary schools as well.
Yeah, and removing those barriers to access is essential. So, everyone deserves healthcare. So I'm glad that our little ones will meet those needs early on.
We're doing it.
And I know Mr. Rice, you wanted to mention something.
You all might be aware, if not, September is Suicide Prevention Month. Me, being a military guy for a few years, seen a lot of that. But that's why I don't match tonight. My wife did don't match, but it says on the internet that turquoise and purple was the color for suicide prevention, so that's why I'm not matching. Anyway, 132 people kill themselves per day in the United States. 20% of the high school kids, what I looked up was attempted or even thought about suicide, and actually 9% carried out. And we were talking about the wellness center, how you want to we're getting younger. And they haven't started studies on the younger kids, but I know being in the fire company, we've been in a situation with even younger kids than 15 have thought about it. So the numbers haven't been calculated yet, so it's starting to happen more and more. So us being the leading edge and trying to get that solved before it happens. It is happening, happens every day. I just had a gentleman that was a Vietnam vet out to the VFW about 3 weeks ago, and sat down back when I happened to just call him at the right time, and went out there and we got on the hotline. And, he had attempted his life once before, and he was getting ready to try it again. So it does happen. But some of the signs you all might be aware of, kids all of a sudden start changing their personalities, being self to herself. Younger kids just they'll go out, they'll come be more aggressive. But 15 and older would usually be kept to herself, start giving things away, not having friends. And so just be aware of it. You got to ask the question, are you okay? The thing that hurts you, you got to ask that tough question. And whatever they say, you got to respond to it. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Wright?
Before I do begin, I just want to, piggyback off of, Mr. Rice's comments. It's always the things you don't expect, because I was one of those students. And I have a semicolon on my right arm that I wear, to remind me of the day where I chose to continue the sentence rather than put a period in the sentence. So it's important we have a responsibility as adults looking over these kids to make sure that we're providing every resource possible. And the wellness center and achieving experience are steps towards that. And I'm very proud of our school district being front and center in this fight. All right. No problem. Last week I attended the board of directors meeting for the DSPA. You all have the minutes in your packet, so we won't go through all of it. We quickly, did introductions, went over what the DSPA is all about. Went through the treasurer's report, the DSPA is in good, financial standing. I went through those records myself after the meeting to make sure everything's adding up. They're doing a really good job there. Let's see, we did have, additionally, DSPA, but we also had 120 back, so we still represent, so 17 of the 19, and we expect one more to actually join at some point. So that's a really good thing as well. We discussed the new member boot camp, it was well attended. We also discussed, how the opening of the school year is going, and, a lot of schools expressed, frustrations, the wins and losses and things like that. It was just confirming that, all 19 districts are going through the same things. We're going to do the same growing things, and, it's, it's not an excuse, but it's also, it helps to know that we're not the only ones dealing with a lot of these issues. We talked about equalization funding again, which is, farmland isn't the same, isn't the same as, densely populated areas. So, we don't get money that other places get. I mean, we have to make, we have to make our dollar stretch a whole lot further. One of our neighboring districts, her board president said, there's blood all over the floor, district officeman squeeze the penny so tight. So yeah, so that was pretty much the big takeaway from the meeting. And as we have further updates, I'll let you all know.
Thank you very much.
All right, any other board members, would like to share anything? All right. Next item on our agenda, 6.03, voluntary school assessment discussion, and that's, Ms. Brennan.
Good evening. So I just wanted to go over briefly, voluntary school assessments. For some of you, you may know it as impact fees. We're going to talk a little bit about Senate Bill 186, some important information, and then also kind of the path forward. So voluntary school assessments is the fee paid by the residential developer to the Department of Education when basically they are building a new residential property that would dramatically impact the capacity of the school district in that vicinity. So they are paid to help basically offset the construction costs and the additional costs of having additional students in that district. So it also could help possibly minor cap as well as the potentially of building a new building. The current way the situation is both Kent and Sussex, or I'm sorry, Kent and Newcastle have passed and have impact fees in place, but in Sussex County, we do not have them as of right now. So how are they assessed? Okay, so first we have to decide if they are applicable or not applicable. And when we're looking at building a residential development in an area, you have to see if any of the feeder schools are at 85% capacity or more. If so, that would trigger the potential of a VSA. If you are not near capacity, then the developers are fine and they would not have to pay anything into it. There's also a component of this where the developer has the opportunity to either pay a fee or they could actually give land at the same value of said fee. So how is it calculated? So it's done based upon Delaware code. So you take the average cost per student of a new building, you multiply it times the major cap project, and then they make the assumption and you multiply it by 0.5, which represents the average number of students in the household. So, and then that goes through DOE, and then the money would ultimately come to the district. So the reason we are talking about this today is that Senate Bill 186 was passed this past legislative session. As of Thursday, it was signed by the governor. So we, Sussex County, have the ability to possibly move forward with BSA and kind of join Kent and Newcastle and having this opportunity to leverage funds. So districts have to encourage Sussex County in order to enact said ordinance. Otherwise, nothing necessarily will be done. From the legislative standpoint, they've already approved it, but now the county has to actually go forward and implement this. So where we stand today is Indian River and Cape have board approved resolutions. Tonight, Milford is presenting and taking a resolution to their board. Wednesday, Laurel is going to be reviewing and discussing the possibility of doing a resolution. And so as I stand before you tonight, I think the thought would be is that in October, if there's the desire, there could be a drafted resolution and then the board would vote possibly on whether we are going to support VSAs. The other part I noticed today is that the Cape Gazette has actually put on their website, there's a live poll right now in terms of do people support or not support the impact fees or voluntary assessments. And at that point, it was actually like 86% support. There was support, not support, and then uncertain. So right now there is positive movement, at least according to the Cape Gazette.
Thank you. Any questions? No. All right, next item on our agenda, 6.04, DB general personnel policy discussion, and what is Mr. Cameron?
Before you is policy GB, and you can see what you have written and you have in your folder. The change that it comes from, it's very subtle changes. It talks in the general personnel policies that doing like in look at this on an annual basis. This is something we're continually doing. And also it talks a little bit about the collaboration starting at a building level and then at this level. We were always working on this together through our whether it's PLCs or our principals cabinets or what have you. So we kind of basically what we're doing with the policy is bringing it up to how we go about doing things on the side of stuff. So it's just some subtle changes that would allow us to, you know, mirror really what we're doing more so than what's in policy.
Well, board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Cameron?
Just basically putting it on paper. Well, we have the policy, it's just refine it, and then if we're okay, so in October, the second reading, I will bring the exhibit that we will look to get rid of in conjunction with what's there, because it's really not, how it's mapped out is not how our business plan works.
Okay.
So, but I wanted to get the first reading, so we're getting, take care of the exhibit at the time, the second reading when the policy will change.
All right, thank you. Next item on our agenda, number 7, 7.01 is school choice. I need a motion, I need a motion to approve this application from 24.61 and 24.62.
Jeff Benson, I make a motion to approve school choice application 2024-61 and 2024-62 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or refusal? And that motion carries.
So you did a good job this month.
Next item on our agenda is go to field trips. So board members, you have one field trip on your agenda. It's a high school Spanish immersion students, November 14th, 2023, from 7:15 a.m. to 3:30. They're going to Gala Hispanic Theater in Washington, D.C. And the students will have the opportunity to watch live professional theater in the target language. So that'd be awesome. And I need a motion to approve this agenda.
There are second, I'm going to approve the field trip agenda as presented.
I have a motion, I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second now. If there's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or recusals? And that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is 7.03, and that is facility request. And so board members, you have a front and back copy. The first request is from the Screen Dance Studio. And that, the event date is May 1824. The recital dates is May 1824 and May 1924. So you see the outline of the event set up and the clean up for that one, and they're looking to use the super high school dressing room, auditorium and classrooms. They're looking for there to be about 1,000 participants. Attendees for this is anticipated. The second item is also a student dance studio, and this is for December 9th, 2023. And for the board members, you can see the event set up and what they requested for the high school auditorium. And description of the event is the Christmas showcase talent show. And they have solo act, dancers, duets, trios, etc. And they're anticipating anywhere between 450 and 500 people to be in attendance. The third item is Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition. That would be October 28th, 2023. And again, you can see the outline of the event setup and the cleanup and breakdown. And they're looking for approximately 300 people to be in attendance for that. And then the fourth one is Jean Willamay Thomas, Secret Church in the Nazarene. And they're looking to for rental dates for July 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th of 2024. And again, you can see where the setup and breakdown is, and they're anticipating 500 people in attendance for that. And if there's no questions, I would need a motion to approve.
Martin Charlie moved to the facility department and that's presented.
Jeff Benson, second.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions on table? And that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is 7.04 GB general personnel policy. And this is an action item with a recommendation to approve the first reading. And I will need a motion.
Jeff Benson, I make a motion to approve the first reading of GB general personnel policies as presented.
There is another second.
We have a motion and we have a second. If there is no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or recusal? And that motion carries. Next item on our agenda is 7.05. SEA _2105 SMS ATHF change order request 2, and that is Mr. Henry.
So guys, these are true change orders, so like I said, they add to the CO amount. So this is for a concrete pad outside the facility, basically accommodate. There's like a commercial washer and dryer over there, and then there's a storage right beside that, was where the athletic uniforms would be stored. So this would allow the person that's actually cleaning the uniforms to take them around and put them into the storage area. And just kind of cleans it up around the outside of the area to add additional concrete on that. Any questions?
So that, the recommended action item for this is to approve that, change order request 2, and I will need a motion.
Martin Charlie moved to approve SEA 21005 _SMS ATHF change order request 2 as presented.
Jeff Benson, second.
We have a motion, we have a second. If there's no further discussion on this one, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or recusal? And that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is 7.06 SEA _21005 SMS ATHF change order request 3 in Mr. Henry.
Yep, so this one also is a true change order on which adds to the PO amount. And it's actually to get piping across the parking lot to a storm drain. So basically, we're just trying to connect one storm drain to another, but we had to basically cut the parking lot up and put the piping in. So
Any questions, fellow board members? All right, there's no questions. I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion 7.6 SEA _21005 _SMS ATHF change order.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Wright. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second from Dr. Savage. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or refusals? And that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is 7.07 SCA _2105_FMS_MEP1 allowance authorization 3. Mr. Henry.
So this one's an allowance authorization, so again, it comes out of the PO amount that's already existed. So it's just an allowance that's inside that PO, so it's not an additional charge. So basically, it's gonna be for a, moving around some pipes that for the chiller, the new chiller, when it goes in, it's actually gonna set differently. So this is just kind of moving pipes around to make it kind of accommodate the chiller. Any questions on that?
This also requires a motion in the recommended action item to approve. If there's any further discussion, you have a motion.
Jeff Benson, I move to approve SCA _210005 SMS _MEP1 allowance authorization for this presented.
We have a motion, we have a second.
One, sorry, that's second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. If there is no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or refusals? And that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is 7.08 SEA _220001-FBE-SBHC for an allowance authorization 4. And that is you, Mr. Henry.
Yep, so this one's also an authorized allowance for a school-based health center. Basically what it is outside the facility, they have an access hole going in underneath where they were able to put pipes and drain pipes and stuff like that in. So basically what we're gonna be doing is going back and rather than closing that off because of later maintenance issues that we could have underneath there, we're gonna basically put some Velcro doors there that we'll have access to and be able to get underneath the building. So that's basically what we're doing there.
Easier access, okay?
Easier to access.
So board members, if you don't have any questions on that, this is an action item and recommend the action to approve. Can I have a motion?
This is Darren Savage. I move to approve SEA _22001-FBE-SBHC allowance authorization 4 as presented.
Jeff Benson, second.
We have a motion and we have a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or refusals? And that motion carries. The next item on the agenda is 7.09 SEA _220001-FBE-SBHC allowance authorization 5. And Mr. Henry, that's you.
Authorized allowance also, guys. The only thing on this one is it's an additional sign. If you notice, when you went in the facility, everything has a sign except for the lab. But the reason for that is it's the ADA requirement for the signage, and the lab's not an ADA, area. So basically, the more is asked for that to be added just to make it so people understand what the facility is used for.
Board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Henry? Okay. The recommended action is to approve the authorization, allowance authorization 5. May I have a motion?
Motion 7.01 SEA _2201-FBE-SBHC allowance authorization 5.
We have a motion, I have a second.
Darren Savage, my second.
I have a motion, we have a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or refusals? And that motion carries.
I'm hoping we're all gonna jump with this, guys. If not, if not, Ms. Hopkins is gonna retire. This is fifth, they didn't give us 20.
Right.
I didn't know his motion was Stephen Middle School, so the old school, so it is the old school.
It is almost, we do run into issues over there, so yeah.
All right. All right, next item on our agenda is 7.10 financial report. This is written that we did.
Looking at our operating unit expenses, we have expended just about $2.5 million in total. We are 16.67% of the way through the fiscal year. And our total percentage is 19.61 in terms of encumbered or expended, so we're tracking right on target. Local salaries are under our 16.67. They're currently at 13.69, which is very positive. The one negative I do want to share and discuss a little bit today is driver's education. Right now it has a negative of $21, which is not in itself alarming. However, what I will tell you is that this negative is going to continue to grow throughout the year. We rent 2 fleet vehicles from government support services. In the past, we've been paying about $300 a month per vehicle. And we received our bill on July 1, and we were notified that the cost per vehicle per month is now in the neighborhood of $550 per vehicle per month. In the past, government support services had a limit put into place where they could not increase the rates so much year over year, so that agencies or LEAs could kind of anticipate the expenses. However, given the automotive market and the industry as a whole, they removed that, which is why our rates went up. We are going to start looking into seeing if there's more cost-effective measures instead of renting 2 vehicles from fleet. But I will tell you that this number will continue to rise and it will still be negative, and we're going to have to make it whole through other resources. Our tax collection, we did receive in September just over $1 million, which is fantastic. If you compare to where we were last year, we are at over 17%. Last year, we were only at 15%. This is also a very positive sign. October is our biggest tax receipt month. So once we see next month where we're at, I think that'll show as a whole where we're tracking. The set aside, no changes here. Moving on to our monthly revenue report. So in terms of state funds, our top third, this increased by about $352,000. There were 2 big increases. One is $238,000 for safety and security for Mr. Zoll. And then we received $94,000 of $3.8 million that was given out for water lead testing. So we're going to be utilizing that to switch out more of our water fill stations and save some of our ESSER and other funds. Then looking at our local funds, we had an increase of $141,000. $88,000 of that was cafeteria funds, and about $43,000 was interest earned off of our local funds, which is great. And then finally, down in federal funds, you see $412,000. This is our Reimagining Professional Learning Math grant. We have not received our funds yet for our ELA, but we had fantastic news today that our consolidated grant was approved. We're going to receive the money. So next month, hopefully part of that big $3.8 million will actually be in our bank account and we'll be able to spend it.
All right. So board members, we have any questions for Ms. Berner related to the monthly financial report?
Yeah.
All right. This is an action item, and the recommended action is to approve the monthly financial report as presented.
Darren Savage, I move to approve the monthly financial reports as presented.
Jeffrey's in a second.
We have a second. Is there no further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The abstentions are refusal, and that motion carries. The next item on our agenda, and thank you, Brian. The next item on our agenda is long range agenda. And as you can see posted on the screen right now, we have several events that are coming up. If you can, go out and support the schools for their Chick-fil-A nights. And I see where Chick-fil-A has really been very supportive of the district and allowing our schools to come there for the different nights. Recognizing schools closed on the 22nd. Get geared up, get your blue and gold ready for October 6th, y'all, as it is homecoming parade. So make sure you have the right colors on, everybody. Then you have the high school CTE fall advisory event will be the 12th of October. Then we have some family fun night, I believe on the 12th. Middle school fall sports family night will be the 12th as well. One starts at 5 and one at 5:30. The 13th school will be closed for special development, and then you can meet us back here on the 16th at 6 p.m. for a board meeting for our
Just to let you all know, we work very hard to make sure that we are color coordinated for homecoming, all the way down to the shoes. We try to see you guys with that.
Not that they do whatever Mr. Paul has on. Those cake colors. Alright, let's see. So the next item on our agenda is executive session, for personnel matters, legal vacancy, matters. We thank you all for being here for the public, section of our meeting. We will go into a private meeting now, and we will come back for the public meeting after we complete this process. I do need a motion to enter into executive session.
We're gonna try to move into executive session, discuss legal matters and personnel matters.
In a second.
We have a motion, and we have a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay.
I was voting last senior year, so I tried that. Yeah.